In the heart of one of the big and bustling cities, there was a barber shop called Aura, which quickly became famous among the people. Aura Hall was different from anywhere else, not only because of its modern equipment, but also because of its owner's uncanny and undeniable ability to attract new customers. Those who entered this hall for the first time would return again and again, as if something invisible is pulling them to this hall. The owner of this salon, Naila, was a young and mysterious woman who always had a mysterious smile and a cold look on her face. In addition to her impeccable makeup skills, she was so skilled in the art of gaining trust and fascination that no one could resist her charm and her service. The beautiful hair and glowing skin of the customers who went out here was the talk of the town. Everyone believed that Aura Hair Salon is a magical place that transports everyone into their best version. But no one knew that the dark secret was hidden behind this outward beauty. One of the Naila's victims, one of the regular customers of this salon, Maria, was a successful and social woman who, due to her busy job, was always looking for a place to rest and take care of her appearance. She fell in love with the services of Aura Salon and visited her monthly. Every time she left the salon, her face looked fresher, her hair shinier, and her skin healthier. But something strange was happening. Every time Maria visited, she felt that part of her being remained in the salon. She felt a strange fatigue in her body, and strange and scary dreams came to her. In her dreams, she saw the hall turn into the endless labyrinth, where mirrors were alive, and in every reflection worried and pleading faces appear. Maria tried to ignore this feeling because her flawless appearance made her self-condition multiplied. But every time she went to Aura, she got worse and worse. Until the last time she went to the hall, something terrible happened. Last meeting with Naila, Maria entered the hall that day very tired and full of sobs. Naila greeted her with a pleasant smile as always. Maria sat down in a big little lounge chair, and Naila said while gently combing her hair, "I am feeling special today, Maria. I know this is our last meeting." Maria suddenly felt a strange weight on her shoulders, as if her energy was draining. At that moment, the hall's electricity flashed and the lights dimmed and brightened momentarily. Maria tried to get up from her chair, but Naila grabbed her hand and smiled at her. "Just a few more moments. After that, everything will be over." Maria started in a mirror in front of her, but what she saw was not her own face. Instead of herself, she saw another woman in the mirror. A woman with a pale face and terrified eyes staring at him. The woman in the mirror moved her lips in her and said something under her breath. "Run away before it's too late." Maria tried to get up, but something invisible kept her in the chair. The mirror began to shake and voices were heard from within them. Voices from the women who had come to this hall before and never returned. At the end of Naila's work, Maria screamed with all her might as she forced herself up from her chair and freed herself from Naila's grip. With her last string, Maria went to the police and described what she saw in the hall. A few hours later, the police raided Aura's salon and arrested Naila. But the strangest part of this story was that in the basement of the hall, they found a room full of cutaware hair that was stored in glass shelves with the names and photos of previous customers. Everything pointed to a series of evil events Naila used to capture the souls of her clients and feed on them. The hall was closed, but this was not the end of the nightmare. After the closing of Aura Salon, Maria's life continued to sink into the waters of fear and of an unfortunate events. The more the story of the hall passed, the more she felt that something was left unfinished, as if everything was just the beginning of a new nightmare. At night, she had more heavy and unnatural dreams. In her dreams, she saw the large mirror of the hall in which reflected not her own image, but the distraught and screaming faces of previous customers. But the strange thing was this: Maria's hair began to fall out in a natural way, until within a few weeks all of her hair was gone. The doctors had no explanation for this. She was no longer the same woman who had once achieved an attractive and radiant face in Naila's hairdressing salon. She was getting weaker every day, as if the life was draining from her. But this time, her nightmare had one important change. Naila was back in the den. Every night, she saw her in the hall. She was sitting on a chair with scissors in her hands, with the same mysterious smile and a quiet voice saying, "It's not over yet, Maria. You owe me something." Naila's return a few weeks after the closure of Era. A strange news spread on social network. Some of Naila's former clients had mysteriously disappeared. At first, the police did not take these disappearances seriously, but their number increased day by day. Strange of all, no traces of these people could be found. It was as if they had disappeared from the page of time. Maria felt that these disappearances were related to Aura and Naila's salon. But Naila wasn't present, so how could these events continue? One night, Maria decided to go to the abandoned hair salon Aura one last time. She felt she had to face those nightmares to find a way out. Something inside her, like a restless voice, pulled her toward the hall. When she reached the abandoned hall building, everything was dark. A cold wind blew in from broken windows, and the smell of the old perfume of hall was still in the air. Maria entered the hall with the dim light of her flashlight, but upon entering, all the lights turned on at once. The chair was neat and dirty, the mirrors were shiny, and the whole hall was as it had been in its heyday. But the hall should not have been so untouched and clean, as if someone had just prepared it a few years ago. Maria went to the mirrors with her hands shaking. Just as she looked at herself, she saw something behind her. Her face froze. In the mirror, she saw not this image. In the mirror, she saw not his image, but Naila standing behind her with the smile, with the same fearful look. Maria screamed and turned, but no one was behind her. The mirrors started shaking. A laugh was heard from the depths of the mirrors. Naila's familiar voice. "Did you see what I told you, Maria? Nothing is over." Maria tried to run from the hall, but every time she ran for the exit, she found herself back in the same room. It was as if the hall had become a trap from which she could never get out. Every time she looked at the mirrors, her own face would fade away, and instead of she would see one of the previous customers staring at him, pleading with a confused face. Maria realized that she, like those previous clients, had become a part of this nightmare. Suddenly, she felt her body lighten, as if drawing something visible. The mirrors turned on one by, and at the last moment, she saw her own face gradually fading into the mirror. The next morning, the police arrived at the abandoned Aura building following a report of trespassing. When they entered, no one was there, but the dressing chair with a lack of hair on the floor was lying in front of the main mirror. Maria was never found again. Her family reported her missing, but like dozens of other customers, there was no trace of her. A few months later, in another city, a new hair salon called Aura was opened. But this time, the person working in that salon was a young woman with a familiar face. Maria was a mysterious smile and cold and empty eyes. No one knows if this is the same Maria or just an image Naila created of her. The only thing that is certain is that Aura has started working again, and her clients one by one are dragged into this endless nightmare. Beauty a price beyond appearance. The story of Aura's Salon is more than a scary narrative. The story is warning about the dangerous obsession with beauty to the illusion of appearance. In the modern world where appearance has become so important and everyone is in search of perfection, The line between illusion and reality is easy blurred. Naila's hair salon was not only a place to change the appearance of customers, but also a complex trap to capture their soul and identity. I hope you enjoyed this story. If so, please like the video and comment on what you learned from it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more enchanting tales just like this one. Thank you.